I have come across several Nebosh students who become demoralized, who become disappointed after failing or getting referred in their Nebosh open book examination. And unfortunately, they get no one to guide them on what went wrong. And therefore, today at Safe Time Online TV, I'm going to break down 7 facts of Nebosh open book examination that will guide each and every Nebosh student, each and every health and safety oriented person before they dash into the course itself. So be with me until the end, because the last 3 facts are the most important ones that will enable each and every safety oriented person to reach their health and safety goals. Number 1, fact number 1 is the basic prerequisite. These are the preparations or the prerequisites that each and every safety-oriented personnel, especially those who are interested to take the Nebosh IGC, should be prepared for. Each and every Nebosh student should have his own personal computer. You cannot pass this course with your mobile phone. You cannot use your mobile phone to do the course. No one should lie to you that you can answer the questions and submit through your mobile phone. It's possible, but the rate of failure is 75%. And remember, this course is expensive. The Nebosh IGC course is expensive because it costs around $700 to $800, and it depends with the institution that you are registered to. Therefore, failing or getting a refer in your open book examination is a very disappointing situation. So before you even think of starting to study the course, you should look for money, prepare to have your personal computer. So if you have your personal computer, you should do the following. Number 1, you should know how to type. You should know how to write using the computer, that is typing. Typing is a basic requirement to each and every person who is intending to do the Nebosh course. Because no matter how you understand the course, but if you lack the knowledge and the skills of typing on how to use the keyboard, you will not be able to succeed in that course, because no one will stand for you, no one will do that exam for you. Number 2, editing. If you know how to type, you should know how to edit. That is, you should know how to remove, to omit, and to add and omit some errors from the text that you have typed. Number 3, you should be able to know how to navigate around the computer. In other words, you should have a basic understanding of computer knowledge in order for you to sit for the Nebosh open book examination. So A, you should have your computer. B, you should have an average understanding of English language. And that is the level of your understanding. You should be able to read and understand clearly the vocabularies in English language. Because if you are not able to read clearly, it means you cannot understand the course. And if you won't understand the course, you will not be able to answer any question that will be asked during the examination. Most students do not understand what they read. Therefore, it becomes very difficult for them to understand the course itself even before they reach the examination. So your understanding in English language is a basic that each and every Nebosh students should have. Lastly, the grammar. You should be able to understand all the bombastic words, all the vocabulary words, in order for you to read, in order for you to understand the course and interpret the knowledge and apply it during the examination. If you are not able to understand the vocabularies in English, you are at a 70 to 75% of failure in your examination. During the examination, different vocabularies will be used during the scenario base, the passage that will be brought in the examination. It will use different words in English. Different words in English will be used to set the exam. So if you are not able to understand and interpret those words, it becomes very difficult for you to pass in that examination. Number two, or basic number two, the scenario or the passage itself. I want to take you back to the primary level and the secondary level or the O level. There is always, in English language, there is always a passage. In that passage, you will be required to read the passage. And after that, you will be asked questions from that passage. So in the Nebosh, the Nebosh open book examination is exactly how that English language or English grammar used to be. So the passage or the scenario will be describing a certain company. Therefore, you will be required to read that scenario, understand the scenario or understand the passage. After that, the questions that will follow will come exactly from that passage. So this is a basic requirement to each and every person who is intending to do the Nebosh course. The reading style, you need to read to understand. You don't need to read to finish the passage. You read and interpret each and every word that is used in that scenario. In order for you to get the correct answers, you should be able to read to understand and interpret each and every term that is used in the passage. How to derive answers from the scenario. After reading the scenario, you should be in a position to derive answers from the scenario and apply them in your answer sheet. And this will come as a result of your understanding of the scenario. If you are not able to understand the scenario properly, it becomes very difficult for you to answer those questions. And here is a method that you can use for you to get the correct answer. So today, I am going to give a secret. I'm going to give the best way to answer the questions in your Nebosh open book examination. And this is, when you finish reading the scenario, when you finish reading the passage, question 1 is always coming from the passage or the paragraph 1 of that scenario. That is the setting of the Nebosh open book exam is exactly the setting, the English language setting. So the way you used to answer questions in English grammar is exactly the same way that you are required to apply to answer the questions in your scenario-based exam. So when you read question 1, most of the time, question 1 is coming from the points, or your guide should come from the paragraph 1 of that scenario-based exam. So if you read question 1, go back to the scenario, read passage 1. If you don't get the answer, go to passage 2, go to passage 3. They go one by one like that until the end of the exam, until all the questions are solved. So that is one technique that you should use in your examination. If you read question number 1 or task number 1, don't look the answer in the center or at the center of the passage. That is not the strategy. The strategy is the first question will always come from the first paragraph of the scenario. Take that one in mind. Make sure you note it down. So each and every question will follow each other, while other questions require general understanding of the whole scenario. Therefore, read the scenario to understand. That's number one. Number two, drive your answers systematically from question one to the last question. And most of the time, you need to understand the whole scenario so that when you are answering the questions, you will be able to apply the knowledge or the idea that you have gotten from the scenario from passage one or from paragraph one to the last paragraph. So you should have an understanding of the whole scenario before answering any given question. B, under the scenario, how to link the scenario with the course knowledge in the course book. You are required to link whatever you learned in class with whatever has been discussed in your scenario-based exam. So to link this is very simple. And it becomes very simple when you understand what you have read in the scenario. So it's very, very easy for you to apply your knowledge in class to the answer sheet when to the answer sheet when you understood whatever you have read in the scenario. That is number one. Number two, it becomes very easy for you to answer the questions when you fully understood the Nebosh course. Here I'm going to here I'm also going to elaborate as we move on that in order for you to answer any question in the open book examination for the Nebosh, you should be able to have all the elements in Nebosh IGC on your fingertips so that any given question that will be asked, you know exactly where it's coming from. Number three, so number one is the basic prerequisite. Number two, the scenario. Number three, the knowledge of the Nebosh course. Each question asked, you should be in a position to locate exactly where it's coming from, which element of the Nebosh course the question is coming from. Some questions are coming from IG2, that is the practical part or the unit 2. Others are coming from the unit 1. So when you read the question, before even you attempt to answer the question, you should know exactly word by word. You should be able to note the keywords, where they are coming from which element, from which unit, so that you will not waste time to look for the answers. Remember, this is an open book exam. You are free to open your books. You are free to open your notes. You are free to refer from the internet, from the nebosh@go.com. You are free to refer from hse.com. So all these sources become very easy to refer when you understood the course systematically. Each and every element, you have it on your hands. In order for you to link between the scenario and the knowledge in the course book, you should quickly identify the keywords and where they are derived from. So in order for you to quickly or to save time in answering the questions, you should be able to know exactly where a particular question is derived from. So if you know that, it becomes very easy for you to answer the questions, to apply your knowledge, very easy for you to link the knowledge that you learned in your classroom or in your online tutorial and apply it in your scenario-based examination. Number 4, providing short answers. Do not let the examiner think about what you wanted to say. Do not let the examiner think about what you wanted to say in your examination. In other words, your answers should be in detail, in that the examiner doesn't have to ask himself what you wanted to say in your exam, in your answer. So providing a detailed answer is the best and the big secret. Providing a detailed answer is the big secret that many students that I've come across did not discover that before they sat for their open book examination. Most of them provide a one sentence. A one sentence answer will not earn you any mark. Two sentences answers will not earn you 2 marks. Remember, this is an open book exam. You are free to refer to any source. Therefore, provide a detailed answer that will not give hard time for the examiner to award you a mark. And you should also provide extra marks. You should always provide extra points when asked to provide a certain number of points. So not giving enough details on your answers will not earn you marks in that examination. Number 5 is taking the Nebosh course blindly. Most of the students that I've come across, most of them were given refer in their examination by Nebosh. Most of them were referred in their examination. And the reason is very clear. Most of them only heard about Nebosh, but they did not do any research. They heard about Nebosh International General Certificate. They heard about HSE knowledge. They heard about it, but they never did any research of where or what the course is all about. What does it require? What are the requirements for the course? What is the modes of studies? And what is the examination method? So all this is basic information that each and every Nebosh student should know before they dash into the course itself. So most students of Nebosh never did any research. They only had the course from friends. They never visited the learning center or the learning partner. So again, here is a very crucial point. Again, here is a very crucial point. If you want to do the Nebosh course, first you need to do research. What the course entails. That is, what the course is all about. After completing the course, what are the benefits of completing the course? What is the benefit of achieving the certification of Nebosh IGC? Now, after that, you need to visit the learning center. You have to ask all the questions that you have in mind. Don't go blindly. Do not pay money and you don't know what is ahead of you. So when you reach at the learning center, ask the following questions. What is the benefit of achieving the certificate of Nebosh International General Certificate or Nebosh National General Certificate? That is number 1. Number 2, what is the study method or the mode of studies? Number 3, how much am I required to pay for the course? What is the mode of payment? Then, after all these questions, learning center or sales executive to answer to you all these questions so that you know exactly what is ahead of you. Then you should also ask how the exam is being conducted and what are the conditions for the exam. Is there any deadline? Is there any deadline? What if I fail the exam? What is there any extra payment that I'm required? And is the payment for the for all the units, or am I supposed to pay for receipt? Am I supposed to pay for receipt for all the 2 units? All these questions you're supposed to answer. You're supposed to ask on the first day when you visit the learning center. In short, you're supposed to have a full information about the course even before you start it. Number 3, not choosing the best learning center. I have had several learning centers, both in the UAE and in Qatar and some other countries. Some of them are not providing the right information to the students. The students end up studying or taking the course blindly. But first, I will not blame the learning centers. I will blame the students, those who are intending to do the course, because you are the one who will pay the fee. You are the one who you are required to pay the $800. So looking for money is very difficult. You know very well that $700 is not a lot of money, but it is a huge amount of money to most of us. So if you want to study Nebosh IGC, you should be able to know exactly what is ahead of you, what you are required to do, what you're supposed to have, and all these questions you are the one to ask the learning partner to provide you with the right answers. If you fail to do so, they are also in business. I tell you clearly, the learning centers, the learning partners are also in business. If the student is blindly paying money without consideration, they will not be responsible for whatever will happen. If you fail, if you get referred, that will not be their problems. Therefore, you need to take that. You need to take note of that. Most of them are paying money online or not asking the right questions during their visit to the learning center. Number 6, choosing the wrong learning method. There are several learning methods which are provided by the learning centers or the learning partners. Each and every learning partner have their own learning method or learning modes. Therefore, depends on you, the student, to decide which learning mode you're going to use for your studies. There is e-learning. There is full-time classes. There is open and distance studies. There is part-time classrooms. There is virtual learning or blended learning. All these learning modes, all these learning methods are provided by the learning centers or the learning partners. So it's upon you to decide which learning partner or which learning modes you are going to take that will suit your schedule, whether you are a work class or whether you are still a student. So depending on you to decide which learning method you're going to use for your studies. So most students of Nebosh that I have talked to and have come across, they ended up choosing the e-learning. And the next tutorial, I'm going to elaborate, I'm going to explain all these learning methods, all these learning modes that we have talked about, each and every one, and how you are support and which one is the best that you can use in your studies. So, if you choose e-learning, you should be prepared with the following. Because e-learning, number 1, is a distance learning, whereby there is no tutor and there is no any support from the institution that you registered to. So what you are going to do, you are going to be provided with some text or some notes through PDF, some videos, and that's all. So you are only going to, you can read them online, or you can print them into a book or into a book form and read by yourself on your own pace. Therefore, this method of learning works only for few individuals, those people who are highly educated, those people who have a high level of English understanding, those people who can read and interpret and apply whatever they have read in any platform, in any sector. So e-learning is a good method of learning. But for most of the students, this is not the best method of learning that you can choose, because there is no personal tutor, no one who will guide you through the whole course. You will be reading it yourself, whether you are making some errors or not, you don't know, and no one is there to support you. Number two, there is no any direct feedback, because there is no any room for asking questions. If you haven't understood anything, no one is there to ask question. If you choose to do e-learning, you are only required to pay money and register for the examination. There will be no any fee. You will only be provided with the materials or videos or whatever, and you will only pay for that. But there will be no any tutorial, no support, no room for asking questions. So no asking questions, there's lack of guidance, there is no updates for any new laws that have been updated in the Nebosh International General Certificate. Sometimes the exam laws or the exam rules are changing. So if you are under an institution where there is a tutor who is guiding you, you will always be updated. But if you only have your notes, you read it online, or you print the notes and you study and wait for the exam. If there is any changes that has been made for the examination, it will become very difficult for you to get updated and to rectify whatever has been changed. So another thing is not balancing between job and studies. If you choose the wrong study method, you will get difficult time to study. You will get difficult time to study, because if, let's say, for example, you haven't asked any question for your study and you choose virtual. If you choose virtual studies, live session, there is a specific time that you're supposed to be online for you to study. So if you haven't asked these questions, you will find yourself that while you are required to be online for your virtual studies, at the same time you are on duty and you are very busy and you don't get this time to study. And remember, if one module or one element passes you, it becomes very difficult for you to get it. It becomes very difficult for you to recover it. So I advise each and every Nebosh student, they should consider the following. Number one, ask all the questions that are required. Ask all the questions and get the right answers from the learning center. Number two, plan, schedule with your learning center and make sure that your work does not interfere your studies and your studies does not interfere your work. By so doing, it will become very easy for you to plan and arrange for your studies conveniently. The last fact of Nebosh IGC is waste of money and no achievement for your goals. If any Nebosh student is given a refer in either of the two units, they are required to pay an extra amount of money to each and every unit that have been referred to. So this extra money is a waste of money, because if you are able to plan yourself, if you are able to organize yourself and prepare yourself at the beginning, You could not have been referred, and therefore you could not have wasted that money. Number two, if you become demoralized and become totally disappointed, most of the students, they fail to continue or to resit for the for the papers that have been referred, and that will completely end their career in health and safety. The money that have been the money that they have paid for the Nebosh IGC will be a waste of money, and that is what we want us to avoid. So today at SafeTime Online TV, I want to give you a hope. From today, if you watch and listen, if you watch this tutorial, make sure that you choose a good learning partner. That's number one. Number two, choose the best method or mode of study. And I will explain which is the best one in the coming tutorial. Number three, balance between job and balance between your job and studies. By so doing, if you do exactly what I'm telling you to do, you will be able to pass in Nebosh course and you receive your certificate. My objective in this YouTube channel is to share the knowledge in health and safety to each and every personnel across the globe, so that people will work safely and they will go back to their families unharmed. If you find this helpful, I kindly ask you to subscribe to my channel, like, share, and leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know if you have understood. If there is any question, please do not hesitate to ask. And if you have any topic that you want me to talk about, then put it down and I will quickly going to talk about it. Thank you very much to have watched and reached this juncture. Let's meet in our next tutorial.